Allegedly, according to reports, Arsenal are close to signing and are targeting a deal for Kingsley Coman and Ivan Toney. Whether you believe that or don't believe that, let me know. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me share my screen with you lot. As usual, to my regular supporters, one love for you lot tuning in. If you're new here, you know what to do. That's hitting the comment section, that's smashing the like, and that's also the hitting the subscription button. Now, if I share my screen with you lot, as usual, silly season is coming to an end. So probably all of these journalists and writers, they want to get their engagements, as us Arsenal fans have, and cling on to hope of signing players. Now, Kingsley Coman and Ivan Toney, for what they're worth, I'm on that. We need an inside forward. We need another striker. I want the best of both worlds. I know a lot of people sit here and say, oh, what's the point of signing a striker when we've got Kai Havertz? By that same logic, David Raya wouldn't be our goalie. We owe these players nothing and they owe us nothing. We need to get towards having a team to win major honours. My issue would be in that you never really know what's being reported and what's actually going on in the footballing world. Maybe a lot of clubs, including Arsenal, knew Ivan Toney's status and he was available. As you know, he's spoken several times of his desire to leave. He has recently in the last year changed agents. He's got a year left on his contract. He's been left out of the 2 match day squads. He's been linked with Chelsea, Manchester United, and now Arsenal. So how far do you go with that? But when we were trying to get him in January, did we not hear that, oh, we're not convinced by him and attitude issues and all of that? And again, things can change. Things can change in life. But doesn't that scream panic? Does that scream that we've gone over the other targets and it hasn't happened? Now, I think Ivan Toney be a great addition in that you've got Kai Havertz doing his thing. Ivan Toney can be rotated in and make the difference when required. And the same goes for Kingsley Coman, although even on the Kingsley Coman front, quality player, addresses an area we have. French player signing for Arsenal, cash money. And if we sign him, I won't complain. But he's on like 300 grand a week. He's got injury issues. Bayern Munich, are they going to let him go on loan? How much of the wages do they want us to take on and a loan fee? Why are they trying to flog him? If he's that good of a player, why are they trying to flog him? Essentially, people. So there's a lot of things to consider. But the Football Insider, whether they're a credible source or not, Arsenal plot shock Ivan Toney move after deal agreed. Arsenal are planning a shock late move for Brentford striker Ivan Toney, sources have told Football Insider. The news comes after widespread reports suggesting Chelsea have approached the Bees over a deal for the 28-year-old. Sources say Arsenal have been waiting in the wings and now ready in the bid. Now Brentford with allegedly Chelsea, Manchester United, Arsenal now, and obviously Saudi, if they're all queuing up to try and get Ivan Toney, the real winners are Brentford. You know, we've got good negotiating channels with Brentford, owing to obviously signing David Raya. The move, which comes as a shock this late on in the summer window, apologies, will be facilitated by the sale of Eddie Nketiah, who has agreed to join Crystal Palace in a 25 million plus deal. Now, I don't know Arsenal's finance. We've seen, we've sold a couple of academy players. Smith Rowe's gone out the door. There's at least 30 million owing to Eddie Nketiah's deal to Crystal Palace. We're going to get 18 million up front for Aaron Ramsdale. Probably got a loan fee or some sort of money for Fabio Vieira, or in fact, they're just paying his wages. But there's been a lot of outgoings, really. So maybe there is money. But you look at Garcia, where the goalkeeper situation is concerned. Allegedly, Espanyol want his 30 million release clause paid, in which you have to pay up front. So are we really going to spend 30 million? Then obviously, get whatever finances it is for Ivan Toney, which for me, probably about 50 odd million on top of what we spent for Calafiori and Mikel Merino. You never know. I'm not a financial expert. Who knows, people? And I don't know what our current spending would be. What, like 40 million for Ricardo Calafiori, 30 odd million for Mikel Merino, 27 million to Brentford, technically for Ivan Toney. We're getting near the 100 mark. So probably could happen. You never know. And especially if Nelson leaves, I know Kivior, it's come out that he's not going anywhere. Maybe if an offer's too good to turn down, you've got a decision to make. The move, we've gone over that. Brentford have rejected bids from Al Hilal in Saudi Arabia, who have tabled a lucrative contract offer to Toney, but are yet to receive a final offer. Late interest from Arsenal and Chelsea could create a bidding war and give Thomas Frank's side a decent fee for a player in the final year of his contract. Maybe this is just speculation. As we know, Toney is yet to play for Brentford this season. Spurs and West Ham have also been linked, although Man United have signed Josh Ruzerski, who can play up front as well as other roles. Spurs have obviously signed Solanke. West Ham, I'm not sure what they've done, and I'm not sure if Ivan Toney want to do that. He scored 4 times and got 2 assists across 17 appearances last season. Apparently, the Gunners have held talks with Toney's agent CAA Stella today, in brackets Thursday, and the player is open to the prospect of joining the North Londoners. Sources have revealed to Team Talk that Arsenal is seriously considering a bid of 50 million for the player, says Fraz Fletcher. Whether you believe that is another thing, folks. Kingsley Coman could still leave Bayern Munich in the final hours of the window. He has been offered to Arsenal and Barcelona, with Bayern keen to get Coman off their wage bill. El Hilal have also made a bid, but Coman is yet to agree terms. He still has 3 years left on his Bayern contract. So if they want to get him off the wage bill, and he's got 3 years left, a bit like what we see with Raheem Sterling at Chelsea, it's the onus is probably on Bayern Munich. Of course, if the player's been told he's not going to get first team football and play games, a decision has to be made. And I know no two things are the same. Kingsley Coman's probably available at a lot less than someone like Pedro Neto, but they've both got injury issues. Pedro Neto is going to probably be on less wages if he signed for Arsenal, and he's at least 4 or 5 years younger than Kingsley Coman. Now, situations are different. We had other priorities, but if we wouldn't move for Pedro Neto, a player that at the time the Athletic kept saying Arsenal have an interest in, why are we going for him? We've seen several players linked with Arsenal Football Club: Neto, Rafinha, Kingsley Coman, all of these guys really. So who knows? For what it's worth, Arsenal last minute move for Bayern Munich star Kingsley Coman. Allegedly, Mikel Arteta wants to sign a forward as he looks to add greater competition in wide attacking areas, which, God forbid, something happens to Bukayo Saka or in issues. Gabriel Jesus can play out wide as well as on the flanks. But again, injury issues are there. Trossard, I think he's probably seen as a rotation option and he does his job. Martinelli's there. Form is struggling. We could do with another sort of player. But is there legitimacy in these rumours, or has it really come about because A, Bayern Munich want Kingsley Coman to leave, and B, Arsenal are looking for players allegedly in a position he plays in? We've been alerted to his situation. Obviously, he's got to choose between Arsenal, Barcelona, if there is offers on the table, and move to the Middle East, or waiting to see how things pan out with Bayern Munich. He earns 300k per week. So if you sign him permanently, I'm sure, owing to the riches of the Premier League, he's going to want something similar to that. That's going to put him towards, or probably maybe even more than the Declan Rices, the Kai Havertz's, the Bukayo Sakas, the Salibas, the more top earners at the moment, even Thomas Partey. He's got 3 years left to run. There are doubts over whether Arsenal would pay Coman the same level salary, which may leave them at a disadvantage given the riches on offer in Saudi. And again, we've got a good project. If you want to sign for us, join us. So that's Toney and Coman. Romano has said Arsenal submit €20 million package bid for Garcia as new goalkeeper to replace Ramsdale. There's been 2 agents that have brought the proposal to Espanyol worth €20 million, including add-ons. Espanyol, as we said, they want his release clause activated. So he's agreed personal terms allegedly with Arsenal, but they want his release clause activated, or you can forget about that. And this article, as we've gone over, check out my other video, said we plan to trigger that. And that's probably the thing. Aaron Ramsdale currently undergoing his Southampton medical ahead of a move away from Arsenal. Between Eddie and Nketiah and Ramsdale within the next 24 hours, you'd expect official confirmation that they've left. Romano has said there's still a feeling Arsenal could do something for a winger, but it's important to first understand of all what happens with Reece Nelson if there's a club in the final 2 days prepared to sign him. In that case, for Arsenal, it could be an opportunity to bring in one more player. Arsenal have been exploring the market for wingers in recent days. Hopefully that exploring has helped us find something. Romano said, as I told you before, in case Aaron Ramsdale leaves, Arsenal will go for a new goalkeeper, and the goalkeeper they want is Garcia. Arsenal count on the release clause as an opportunity to close the deal fast. I think Garcia to Arsenal is happening. And of course, I'm happy with that. There's a lot he could learn. We've got a growing Spanish contingent. We've got a good and young squad. But 23 years of age, he's really just started playing first team football. Obviously, such is the amount of goalkeepers we're bringing in. There's a reality David Raya could be gone next summer or the summer before. I'm not saying I want that. How long is a 23-year-old going to go want to sit on the bench for David Raya where you're not going to play before he wants to explore his options elsewhere? The same goes for the Wigan 22-year-old goalkeeper that we've also been linked with. I don't know, people. I mean, I've only seen this guy, Nepan, play in highlights, but I like him technically. Apparently, Arsenal want to get into the poker of signing the 17-year-old midfielder Nepan after the end of the current transfer window. Arsenal are planning talks with Rosenberg and want to sign him in January of 2025. Great player, great technical base, just like Odegaard. And the last Norwegian we signed went on to become captain. So bring him in. Arsenal have also been linked with Openda. I don't know how true that is, but he does play up front. I don't know how, the fee Leipzig could want, considering they've kept Sesko. Maybe there's something there. I don't think anyone expects us to sign Osimhen, but apparently Victor Osimhen is open with El Hilal and Chelsea in talks. Chelsea are still in talks with Osimhen about salary, ready to offer a loan with an obligation to buy, and he's got a monstrous offer from Saudi Arabia. Some reports actually say the Saudi clubs will put a release clause. So if you're him, you stay there for a year or so and you come back to Europe. Who knows? Arsenal's chances of landing number 1 choice Nico Williams have all but gone, but others may pop up, which they're going to have to. as I said, Arsenal exploring a deal to sign Wigan Athletic goalkeeper Sam Tickle. The club have been seeking a goalkeeper with homegrown status to join the first team, with Tickle along with Wolves' Dan Bentley now under consideration. We're still linked with Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who's got a year left on his contract and could be a decent rotationary option. I know his stock has fallen and he's injured and whatnot. Arsenal are still linked with Simon Dringo of Brighton. I would love him, and 50 million, I think that's a sure bet. Can play on the left, play on the right. Brighton play attractive football, as do we, so you can see how he would, and his Premier League experience, so you can see how he would fit in. Romano was spoken about Nico Williams. I personally don't care to keep discussing Nico Williams, but for you lot, forget guys on names like Nico Williams. I have many questions from Arsenal fans on Nico Williams. Arsenal are not signing Nico Williams. Arsenal are not in negotiations for Nico Williams. Nico Williams is not on the market in the final days. Nico Williams is staying in Bilbao. And for Arsenal in August, it was never a possibility. Arsenal are one of many clubs interested in June and July, and after the Euros, attracted by the possibility. But Nico made the decision to stay at Bilbao, and Arsenal respected that. So there you have that, really and truly, where that's concerned. In relation to Benjamin Sesko, despite signing a new contract with Leipzig on improved terms and the previous 55 million release clause being removed, there are details in place which could benefit Arsenal. The new deal was only a one-year extension on the existing contract that lasted until 2028. It has improved its terms and removed the release clause. Sky Sports reported there's a new release clause in the deal at a set price that could see him leave without a club-to-club negotiation next summer. Furthermore, it was reported that Sesko has a gentleman's agreement with Leipzig to potentially move on in 2025. Gentleman's agreement in business very rarely correlates, but there you have that. We've gone over Nico Williams. For sure, Arsenal still in the market. Arsenal still active, and so I would not be surprised if they bring one more in the forward position after Mikel Merino. For Merino, it's all okay, so they're focusing on the winger now. A move for Gyökeres could prove potentially too expensive. 26 years of age, has an £84 million release clause. Sporting would need to find a replacement, and there is enough time for negotiations, but there's little to no time for negotiations. So we'll have to see, where we're concerned. But I think it's fair to say Osimhen, Gyökeres, Nico Williams, forget about that. On the Ivan Toney front, I don't personally believe that. Where who else is there? Kingsley Coman. I think there's feasibility to do that, a bit like Raheem Sterling, if it makes sense. But on that note, I'm tired of offering my thoughts. What do you lot think about everything from the goalkeeping situation to everything else? Do we have enough strength in depth? Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Smash the like button. Peace.